Welcome to Faith Talk, where we just keep it real and genuine. And we like to talk about, life experiences, marriage, religion, keep our Lord and Savior involved in everything that we do. We might bring in a little sports every now and then. All right, so today on the show, it's me, your boy Just Cam. We got Andre returning back. This is how we do it. My co-host on the show. So, Andre, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man, because I'm coffeeed up today. You know what I mean? So
hey, don't feel bad.
Hey, I love this stuff.
Yeah. So I think today, we're gonna kind of mix it up. I know we talked about our wives yesterday. Not yesterday. I gotta get that right.
Last week
on our previous episode, we talked about our wives,
which is doing pretty good, by the way. Got a lot of responses from that.
Oh yeah, doing great. I think we got it on like all platforms. We got it on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and on the Anchor. It's Anchor. I think Anchor is the one that's pushing everything. So
yeah, it's the one that distributes to everywhere else or whatever. So yeah, it's mostly I like more than trying to see views and numbers. I like getting interactions. So I like getting, I like when people send me messages of tissue underneath their sink.
Hey, you started that. Look, man.
Some people your friends, you think you know a person, then they send you a picture talking about some their Charmin user, and
oh my god.
But what I didn't get was any Scott pictures. You know what I mean? I ain't getting Scott pictures.
Hold on now.
I got a bunch of Charmin pictures.
So we did the rankings, right? We did the rankings from our previous episode. Back.
Charmin's killing it right now.
What's the best tissue? And Charmin's actually winning.
They're winning it. That's
crazy.
People like towels. People like the washcloth. I'll get it, but hey,
So it is. So right now, what was it? Charmin was number one, and was your Cottonelle number two?
Cottonelle. I think I gotta go back and count, but actually Scott and Cottonelle was kind of like
they back and forth.
They was kind of they was right there, but people don't know about Cottonelle though, so I'm here to educate you. I'm educating people. If you want that perfect blend, if you want more than one ply, but you don't want it too thick, Cottonelle's the way to go.
Well, they had a good mixture though. We had you actually had people like arguing with you back and forth. Well, I won't say arguing, but it was actually debating with you back and forth about Scott, Cottonelle, and
man, y'all Scott users, all y'all worried about is price though. Hey. Y'all Scott users, bro. All y'all just worried about economical reasons. I mean, I feel you on that though. But
it works.
I mean, it gets the job done.
Yeah. So last episode we talked about our wives and everything, and I think this episode we got a special guest.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. We're gonna bring my wife in. My wife for 15 years on the 12th, which is in a couple of days. Yeah. Wow. So we're gonna bring her in. She's gonna just bring a different element. We think it'd be better to have a woman's perspective on some of our topics. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have her in, bringing a different perspective. So we're gonna go ahead and bring her in. There she is.
Hey, how you doing?
There she is.
Hello.
Looking good too.
Oh my goodness.
Keep it PG, my brother.
So, welcome to our show. Maybe you'll end up being a permanent member of the cast. Who knows?
Oh, but, okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We're gonna test it out, see how you do today.
Okay.
I like to open up the show with a question or a debate. Last episode was about the best toilet tissue on the market. That's what we just got finished talking about. Yep. So today is a common question that I'm gonna bring up. And I know my wife is a vegetarian, she don't eat meat, but she used to eat a lot of chicken back in the day. So she know what's up. So the question is, when it comes to boneless wings, I sound like I'm on the Marvy show. When it comes to 18-year-old Dante,
you are not.
I it's all heavy. Like, oh my goodness.
When it comes to 4-year-old Delonte, he got your nose.
Okay.
So when it comes to chicken wings, which one is it for you? Boneless or traditional bone in?
Well, I'm gonna say something off the charts that's kind of crazy. You're probably not gonna like it.
Don't embarrass me.
But I'm gonna say I like vegan fried chicken, which is fried cauliflower.
That ain't the question though. They're actually really good. But they are, if you haven't had it before, that actually really is good. But boneless or bone in?
Well, when I used to eat chicken, y'all, I will say the bone. I like the drumstick.
That's a whole other topic.
Whatever it's called.
That's a whole other topic because the drumstick versus flats, whole other topic because.
But actually, I think I wouldn't mind not having the bone because it's annoying. You know.
It's
a lot of work, a lot of
exactly. Sure people who like boneless wings are lazy. That's what it is. They don't want to work. They don't want to work for it. See?
Did he just?
You said it. You hit the nail right on the head right there. See that? Not you in particular, but people who like boneless wings, they tend to like things.
He just
come easy in life.
In a deeper hole.
You know what I'm saying?
Just dig deep. Just keep digging. All I'm saying is it's just I feel you get more meat when you don't have the bone. Vice versa, you get the bone. But I will say, at least you know it's chicken.
That's what I was about to say. Because look, you don't know what you're eating. When they say it's boneless, it's probably some pork mixed in that mug. All kind of stuff. All kind of Impossible Whopper stuff.
It depends where you buy it from.
Impossible Whopper?
They throwing some Impossible Whopper in there.
That is good. That Impossible Whopper is good.
That's not chicken.
Do you know what's in it, though?
Nope.
A bunch of soy. Probably not the best,
It's impossible.
It's the best when you're on the go. When you're on the go and you don't have time.
If you're a vegetarian.
And I'm a pescatarian.
Oh, my bad. She's a fishitarian.
I'm not that extreme. But yes. So I don't know what the debate was. I just got on. But
well, for me, I would say bone in.
For me, it's bone in because I don't trust that. I don't trust that boneless.
I don't know
what all that is there, dog.
Well,
it's on the bone. I can see it's a chicken. You know what I mean? I know what it is. I don't know what all that boneless stuff is. You know?
I mean, sometimes I guess the way they cook it when it's just boneless, I think they can like overcook it sometimes.
Yeah, it'd be dry.
Yeah, so it's just bone in for me. And we'll start a poll on that too to see what everybody else thinks. Yeah. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with that one.
I'm a traditional guy,
It depends.
Yeah.
About the sauce.
I feel you.
The restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah. So we like to do this thing where we kind of rate ourselves. Okay. Last time, me and Andre, we went down from our initial rating from episode 1. Andre was like, I'm a 12. I got all,
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, so he went from a 12 to like a what you said?
Like an 8 or 9.
I think you said 7. Did you say 7?
I don't remember. I have to go back.
You should take away the 7. That way people can't be safe.
Yeah. So he was like 9. I think he said 9.
I think I said 9.
We'll save him this time, Dayla. He said 9. So he said 9. I said I went from a 9 to an 8 to 8ish, 7ish.
Yeah, he said 8ish. Right. Yeah.
And so basically what we're doing is we're ranking ourselves based on, how we feel we are, whether it's as husbands or or in our lives or what we're doing with our lives and with our families. So I would say I jumped back up to a 8, 9. Okay. And because I actually tried to apply, the communication level that I wanted to do with, not with just my wife, but my kids as well. Because what I had to see was my kids are teenagers now. Mm-hmm. So the communication level with them is not going to be the same when they're, 5 years old or 2 or 5 years old. So that's what got better for me with that communication with them on that level. So now that that's done, or now that I feel like I've gotten better with that, I would say that I'm now at a 8ish to 9. So what about you, Andre?
I'm gonna say I'm a 9. You know, she can validate here. She can validate because she's here. You know, she can help me out. Cause I've been washing dishes and taking the trash out a little bit more. You know what I mean? I've been doing these things. So, you know, I'm moving up. And I've been taking the trash out, right? I've been doing that, you know.
I give you that, you
I've
know,
been
you
washing
went
the
out
dishes and stuff, you
in
know.
the dark with all the wild animals.
But I'm making
you
the
know.
kids do it. See, I'm making the kids do it too. But I'm showing them, look, this is how you take the trash out. The next time you can go by yourself, and I ain't gotta go. Train them up in the ways that they should go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, there it is.
Train them up.
What about you, Dayla?
Well, okay, so the ranking is like.
So it's basically, how do you feel that you've been doing ranking wise as far as, you know, being a wife, of course, and then how you've been dealing with your family and with your career and what you're doing. Where you at in life? Where do you feel you are with your ranking?
I think there's always room for growth.
See, both of y'all safe. Both of y'all play that safe role.
I ain't play. Oh, I didn't play that safe role. I was honest.
The first
I'm being honest.
The first week you said I'm gonna leave a little room for growth. You know what I mean?
Yes, because you're always gonna grow and you always want to get better. So I will definitely say I am maybe like an 8. I'll give myself an 8 because I think I'm very, very patient with a lot of things, even though my husband may feel a little different sometimes. But I think I'm a very patient mom. I don't like yelling at my kids. I feel like, you know, like you were saying, Cameron, earlier, like learning how to communicate to your children really takes your relationship to another level. Yep. So, and I have, you know, we have 3 boys, so I know guys generally don't like being, you know, yelled at, and young little boys are the same way. You know, they shut down if they feel like they're being, you know, put down or belittled. And so I always remember that I'm raising like young men. So, but yeah, so I will say, I think I'm an 8, you know, I think I still got a good ways to go. Our oldest he will be 11 this year. So, but yeah, I'm seeing how the window of him being this young kid is getting smaller and smaller. So definitely want to make sure we're pouring into him and discipling him. So yeah.
Amen. I'm with you on that because especially with girls too, but with boys, you definitely have to, you know, with them having their father in their life, you definitely want to be able to instill those tools in them that they're going to need when they get older. And then with you, there's some things that you can also teach them too, as far as how to treat, you know, their wives when they get older and when they become men, you know, what their wives are going to expect or what a woman would expect from them. You know, there's a lot of things you can give them too. So I think that's great. Andre, I got a question for you. You know, we were talking about bone in and bone out wings. So now this can be if you're taking your wife out to dinner, of course. So that's how we're gonna pose it. So when you're out the question is, how should you act when you're out in a restaurant with your significant other, and especially when it's like a double date type of situation?
Okay, so this is one of those things where, man, if we go out on a double date with another couple, me and our wife, we treat service workers who serve you your food and stuff. We try to treat them with the utmost respect, and we try to be as nice as possible. So we try to be helpful. Like when we finish eating and everything, we try to gather all our stuff up in the middle of the plate. So all they got to do, you know, especially if our kids are eating, they throwing rice all over the place.
Yeah.
But they're throwing rice all over the place. I try to, like, you know, I don't make it hard for them. So we try to make it easier for them and try to make, you know, a good day on them and try to be good customers. But if we go out with another couple and we go out to Red Lobster and they acting like they're in a 5-star restaurant, we don't go out to eat with them no more.
What you mean by that?
Look,
my
bro,
goodness.
I can't, cause I can't stand when people, they feel like because someone is a waiter or waitress that they're better than them, and it's like, well, you shouldn't have picked this job kind of attitude, and
Oh yeah.
they giving them a hard time, like, hey, my water's low, I don't
Yeah.
like this, I don't want this, and give them a hard time,
Oh yeah.
and don't want to tip, we don't go out to eat with them. We don't do it. So it's just a part of your character. This is one of those things you just check yourself and see how you're acting, how you're acting when you go out, how you treat people. And that's in everyday life, but that's just one of the things that that kind of, it's kind of revealing to people when you go out to eat. You'll see kind of how they view themselves and how they view other people. It's easy to talk it, but to go out and when you go out in a public space and you actually walk that out and live that, even when no one's, so to speak, watching. So that's my take on it.
Dayla.
Well, I would like to add, to me, it doesn't matter if it's a 5-star restaurant or a 5-star restaurant or a 2-star restaurant. I don't care if we're going to Waffle House or if we're going to like Captain's Cook or something. I just feel like you treat people, how you want to be treated. I definitely would like for my husband to, because you asked how would he do, I would like for him to show that I'm his queen, I'm his special lady. I would like for him to make sure, that the night is nice, of course. And of course, like he was saying, we like to eat dinner with people who just honor and respect people for just being a person. It definitely shows a lot about the person's character and their morals and a lot about themselves when you treat people a certain way, because at the end of the day we're all the same, but you never know what this person's circumstance is. You may never know why they're working where they're working, or they may just be having a bad day. So I always try to make it a good experience for everyone. So, but yeah, I think that's my take. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-star. I don't care if it's a Burger King. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna say thank you, and usually most of the time I get good service. Some people just having a bad day. Sometimes I may even say, "Are you having a bad day?" And they're like, "Whoa, I didn't realize I was acting crazy." But yeah, so that's my take.
Yeah.
I can tell you a story about that, like how she's saying, like, if you treat people with respect, you usually get good favor, like wherever you go. That's how you bring upon the favor of God in your life. Mm-hmm. But we was out to eat on a triple date with some other couples one time, and the waitress we got, she had an attitude right off the rip. She was like kind of throwing our menus down, and she'd leave before we can order, and we was like, dang man, what's her problem? We were all like, man, we was like, okay, this is a little, it's a little over the top. So, when she come back, when she don't come back, we're gonna ask the manager or the other waitress, like, hey, can we get someone else, because she seems to be kind of having a, maybe she having a bad day. I think it was it you that asked, Dayla? Or somebody asked.
Well, said, I won't, because we're not talking to each other, but I will say that was a night that the husbands decided to be special. They picked out the wives' outfits and sent us out to go get our nails done. We're like, oh, look at our husbands, acting, showing out. And so the guys were like very excited. We all haven't been on a date in a while, because I think we all had like babies.
Children, yeah.
And so we finally had someone to watch the kids. So, it could have been like the guys could have been really frustrated, but she was acting like just bad. And we were like, oh, something must be wrong, because she is not happy today. So yeah. So
they came back and they said, she said, I'll go talk to her. The other waitress said, I'll go talk to her and see what's going on. So she came and she apologized, and she said she's just having a really hard day. And she was like, if you guys would allow me the second chance, I would like to continue to serve you guys. And that's where grace comes in. Because we could have said, no, we don't want you. I don't want you. You had a bad attitude. But we gave her grace and we said, yeah, go ahead. We didn't know if you're having a bad day or whatever. We understand. We all have bad days. She had like some financial troubles going on. And so, in the end, she did okay. you know. And so in the end, we were like, oh, go ahead, man.
I want to say, because I don't want you to miss these details because they're really important. We didn't know at that point that she was having bad financial trouble. She just
said she had a bad day. Yeah.
Yeah, but we found out after we all decided. We just felt in our heart like to do what you guys would say that part. But
yeah, so like through discernment, I was like, I think we should give her a big tip. And I said, you know, I'll start off. I'll give $20. If everybody just does 20, then we'll give her. Was it 20? I think we ended up giving her $80. I think we gave her like $80 to $100 or something like that in the tip. Whatever it was.
She had $200.
Whatever the tip was.
We gave her $200 basically.
Whatever the tip was, it was the extra. It was the money that she needed for her bill that was due.
Well, she was crying and she came out to us because we all were just leaving, you know. After we put the tip down, we just, you know, we all went to our car and she ran out to us outside and she was crying and she was just saying how she really needed money for her rent. And I think it was close to the holidays because she had a baby. Christmas was coming up and she was just like, you know, I didn't know how I was going to make ends meet. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent, you know? And so she was just thanking us and we were just like, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We just tell her, you know, we just pray for her and, you know, minister to her, but it was really cool because it could have went south. We could have been like, you know, this lady acting up, we're not gonna pay her, we're gonna give her, you know, nothing or whatever. But it's always good to just be led and seeing what's going on instead of just acting out in anger and frustration. So
see, that's why I like having her on because she remembers everything.
they good at that kind of stuff.
Remembers everything.
We're not good at that kind of stuff.
I was finna just gloss over like half the story.
Missed all of that.
I was finna gloss over half the whole story, all details missing.
But that's awesome, man, because the God in you guys gave y'all that discernment to be able to see that. Maybe something was going on with her. Maybe she's going through something. Yeah. Because just think, just imagine if she would have got somebody that's not, living the word of God, or that's not, that doesn't have that relationship with God, and she got somebody that was of the world and that didn't care, or that had an attitude, or got an attitude with her about the situation. Just imagine that, how much more her life would have been worse off because the response she may have gotten from somebody that came or responded in anger. And the fact that y'all gave her a second chance to show that, hey, look, I'm going through this. This is what I'm experiencing in my life. If you guys just give me a second chance, I am having a bad day. The fact that you guys gave her that chance and the opportunity and then turned around and she got a blessing from it. And then I know that y'all instilled the word in her.
Oh, yes.
I know y'all did that.
Yes, so we did. Yes,
that's something. Did. That's something that stuck with her after
and
that.
I guarantee, because she was saying she was praying, and
I think I wrote it on the. I think I wrote it on the receipt. Like I wrote her a message on the receipt.
You did write a scripture. I'm trying to remember which one. My memory's like. but she came out teary-eyed, and she had been praying. She'd been praying for a miracle, and like you said, it could have been, she could have got fired if somebody was like, I don't
like her, get out of here.
But instead, and she literally changed her attitude when we were like, we'll give you a second chance, and she did her best. She was like, she really did her job.
She was struggling. But
she
persevered. Because I think she was like crying in the back and everything, it was bad.
Yeah. So for me, I would say I would kind of add on to what Dayla was saying, but about being that gentleman, doing those things that we should do, opening up the door, which we should do that even when we're not dating. Opening up the door to let her in, or coming around to a car door, or opening up the car door, letting out the car door, just having a special night with that. And then even when going inside of the restaurant, me personally, how I expect or how I feel, I don't really like doing all the loud, overzealous type stuff. That can kind of come off as boisterous to me. So I feel like, you can have a good time and not have to do all that. So me personally, that's just how I am. But when we're generally joking and laughing and having a good time, it's just, that's the best times when going out anyway. And I feel like if the person received the tip, it's based on how well their services were.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I will over tip just because, but if they're just like not just doing everything, or I don't drunk my whole drink and ate most of my food and I still haven't got a refill, just certain stuff like that. I actually pay attention to stuff like that when we're doing when we're in those restaurants, because those tips is a ways that a lot of them make their money with those tips. So but if I'm getting good service, I over tip if I'm getting good service. And like I said, a lot of times, like the situation you guys are in, it could be a blessing to them. You know, when they see that $10 or $20, sometimes $50, and you know they're looking at that money like, wow. You know, another thing too though, you ever sat down at a restaurant and when you sat down, the waiter kind of treated you like you weren't going to tip them? But then when you tipped them, they were like, "Oh man, I could have did better than that because they actually tipped me." You know, you ever had that?
Yeah.
Or,
Like, oh, okay. You don't know who's sitting down in your presence.
Right. I'm about to bless you.
I'm about to bless you.
No, yeah.
Pull your socks up.
Like
I'm
that.
bless
Yes. I don't judge. You never know. You never know.
Right.
I got on the hoodie, but I'm finna bless you.
So I experienced that a lot too, but just me personally, when going into a restaurant, I just feel like, you know, the boisterous tactics aren't needed, you know, being loud, overzealous, or whatever the case may be. But you can still have a genuine good time, and with fellowship with one another. Because I do believe that when you're going out to a restaurant with other couples, that's also a fellowship too, because what me and my wife went through. A lot of times people think that or feel that they're alone in certain situations, but if we talk and share certain things with other couples and be mindful of who you're sharing your stuff with, your information with. Right? So always
Please be careful.
Share with somebody that you trust, that's going to keep that information and not try to share with anybody else. Well, hey, you know what such and such just told me?
Yeah.
They told me.
Yeah.
You know, so be mindful of who you're sharing it with. But when you do share it with that couple, it can be a blessing to them because they're like, hey, we're going through this too. So how did y'all get through that? You know, that kind of thing. So I feel like it's also a fellowship in too, because I know when we with y'all in Texas, we had a great time.
Yeah.
Great time. Great time. So
yeah, it's good to know that you're not alone. You know, everyone has their things they're working out. Everyone has things, their strengths, and everyone has their weaknesses. And I'm always looking for something that I can learn, because I know I don't know it all. Sometimes, you know, my husband may think I know it all, but I don't know it all. It's on camera. Everyone has heard it. But I will say it's good to surround yourself with healthy couples and people that just want to strive and do better, because you know when you're around people like that, it just helps you be stronger in your relationship, because you definitely don't want to be around other couples that are just toxic, you know, that's against your ultimate like goal and vision you have for your family. So that's what me and my husband definitely are very protective of who we surround ourselves with and who we allow in our circle, you know.
Yep. And you have to sometimes you have to evaluate your circle, because sometimes and some people are for a season, and sometimes you have to move on, and sometimes you have to realize that you can't be afraid to lose friends sometimes too. You know, like it's okay. Like, you know, everybody's not going to stick in your life for life. You know, that small circle of people that's going to be with you forever is actually really small. So not necessarily saying you're losing a friendship, but the dynamics of relationships change. Sometimes you move away and it's not the same friendship that you had when you lived, you know, in another location. And so we've experienced that sometimes, you know. But and when you progress in life, and you know things change, you know, your circle of friends will start to progress with that. And so it's just, you know, it's okay to have changes.
I mean, I would like to add that you don't necessarily lose friendships. It's just that, you know, they tend to look different, you know, like and sometimes people we struggle with, I know I struggled with, if you were close to certain people and then you're no longer close, you kind of, it's a little sad, but it's not always necessarily a bad thing. But sometimes it's just, like growth, growth, and God may be taking you somewhere else. He may say, okay, that person did this part for this season of time, and now I need you to move to this season, and sometimes we try to hold on to things in the past or the old way of doing something, and you don't have grace for it, and so it could end up causing more harm and damage and things like that, trying to hold on to something when God is obviously saying, okay, it's time to walk into this new season.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah.
She on it, ain't she? She a natural.
Preach. I wish I had more organ app. I would have.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm a little thing over here.
Now, when we're early on in marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still, we're still learning now, and of course you'll learn a whole lot more throughout your journey or throughout your entire life. But in the beginning, like when you have certain people in your circle that's not good for you, it's like a poisonous cancer or something, because if they're not good for you, or let's say you're married, you're with somebody that you have a friend that's single, not saying nothing's wrong with that, but if that person that's single is having an influence on your marriage, that's not how it should go. It should be the complete opposite of that. Your marriage should be influencing that person to get closer to God or get closer to you, in order to find their person that they're wanting to be married with. But this is my thing: evaluating your circle. If I'm gonna make sure that those people that is not good for me or my marriage or my life, then I will automatically go ahead and just remove them away from it, because you want them removed from your life so that your life can get better or progress, like you were saying earlier, Andre. And me personally, I tell people all the time, I work in law enforcement. It's no secret. I work in law enforcement, so I use that to help me minister to younger kids and then the younger generation, or to just people in general. And when I see them and they're involved in these different types of situations, and they're always in trouble, or they're always doing something that that'll get them in trouble, first thing I ask them, or the first thing I would say to them is like, not be a product of your circumstances. Like, don't let your circumstances, guide you to a negative future or have a negative impact on your life. So who are you surrounding yourself around? Who do you have in your circle? Who is the person that has your ear the most? Like, is that person somebody that's going to, motivate you to do better? Or is that person somebody that's going to tell you to go out here and do this, or go out here and steal from this person, or go out here and do this to this person, or just go out there and do something bad? Or this person going to speak excuse me. Or this person going to speak positivity into your life to help you progress and to help you do better with yourself. So it's like, when you have a circle of people, you want to make sure that circle is full of people that's going to help you elevate. It's going to help you do better. You don't want to be surrounded around somebody that's going to constantly pull you down. If you're around somebody that's going to pull you up and help you elevate for you to be better in your life or with your marriage, that's the best circumstance you want to be involved in. You don't want to be surrounded around people that's going to keep, constantly pull you down. So
and they in that circle, they may not have bad intentions or anything like that, but it's just that maybe their thinking is only at a certain level, and then when you're trying to elevate and go higher than that, they may be thinking, well, why are you still? I mean, what do you need that for? Like, why are you still pushing? Like, you got enough, but you know where you want to go, and you may be content with where you're at, but you still have goals, you still have levels you want to get to. And so sometimes one thing you want to try to do is find somebody who's at where you're trying to go or on the way to where you're trying to go, and surround yourself with them and learn, how they got there or what they're doing to get to that point. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're like she said, that you're going to lose the friends that doesn't want to go to that level that you're trying to get to.
But I'm not to cut you off, but the ones that you do lose, would you really say that they were really your friend to begin with, though? That's my question.
I would say
I'm real careful with that word friend.
I would say, well, don't get him started on that.
I'm
But,
serious.
but
I'm real careful with
I
the
would
word
say
friend.
this. I will say, like I said, that's when it goes back to seasons. Some people you can be best friends in high school, right? And then you grow up, and then you get married, and maybe your friend don't get married, right? But your relationship isn't the same, and they may not understand. Well, why can't we go do this? Why can't we go clubbing? And you're like, well, I'm not gonna go do that without, that's just not something for me particularly, for my statues that I have. I don't force my way of life on people, but I don't think it's a healthy environment for a married woman to be engaging like she's single.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so sometimes, single people, they don't understand that because their mindset isn't marriage. They're at that time, they're not a spouse to anyone. So, it's just them. Or either people, and sometimes, like you said, there are people who may not be really your friend. They like to the advantages of being around you. They like the things they can experience with you, more so like takers than givers. If someone in your relationship is doing more taking than they're giving, because some people just like to take and just to experience things, and they may not be there with you on your down days or your off days. And usually that really shows you like who is what in your life. Like, if this person just somebody fun to go do an activity with, or is this person I can really just do life with, in my up times and my down times, because some people they can hang, and some people just won't. And then you'll really see, okay, we're not really what I thought we were. We're not really.
So you would say that the circles basically change.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the same.
Now there may be the concrete people in your life that are all, and that's very rare nowadays, because a lot of things are very short. People are always focused on, go whatever you like and feel, because even in friendship, sometimes you do go through moments with a friend that can be ugly, but to me, your strength in your friendship is revealed when you go through those tough seasons. Because sometimes, like I say, a friend may be experiencing something bad in life, or just something going on in their life, and they're not the best friend to you, but that doesn't mean they don't care for you and love you. And it's good to be real, because if you never have some type of conflict or something with somebody, you're not, to me, someone's being fake, because at some point you're gonna disagree on something.
Because you expect for them to tell you when you're doing wrong, or whatever.
Or if you just don't agree on
you're
something.
just different people.
Yeah, because now the thing is, if we don't agree, you're not friends. I can't be friends with you because we don't agree with the same thing. That's not friendship. How can that sharpen you if you're both just the same?
That's like an example of people, like, you could be real cool with a person, and they're like, man, you're such a good person, and all this kind of stuff. And then you get into a conversation and they figure out who you're voting for. And then you get political, and then they're like, no, I can't be friends with a person who thinks that way. And you're like, but I'm the same person that I was before you found that out about me, what my views were. And I was cool then, but then you found out that my leanings, my views towards certain things, as far as like how I would vote, and now we can't be friends. You know what I mean? If that's that separates you, then you was never friends in the beginning.
So just to kind of switch gears. Y'all are probably everybody in the family is successful.
Yes.
Everybody in the family is successful. So let's just get that out of the window.
Yeah.
But y'all have went from a lot. Y'all have came from a lot in your lives, and y'all have done a lot in your lives. And I know, me speaking to Andre directly, all we talk about when we're texting and calling, sometimes we'll text like 30 messages, but we're saying like two things in 30 messages. But this man literally told me what he was going to do with his business, what he was going to do with his family, what he was going to do in his life. He literally said, this is what I'm going to do. He spoke it, he put it into existence, and he done it. So just from y'all journeys from a business standpoint on success from your business, y'all want to kind of harp on that for a minute?
Yeah, you want to start, Love?
Yeah. I'll start on
your journey and your journey on your entrepreneurship and everything, and how it went.
I would say when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of people didn't grow up with examples of how to be an entrepreneur. My parents, they worked for the most of their life, they worked the 9 to 5, which is fine, and it's good because they taught me a good work ethic, and I don't fault them for not owning their own business or whatever, or working a 9 to 5. That you need people to work 9 to 5s, but they showed me how to have a hard work ethic. Um, and as I got older, I learned that there's another way that you can do things, and I think there's some people, not saying some people are like better than others and all like that, but people are different, and some people just don't really fit well within the 9 to 5. Like for me, I felt like a 9 to 5 is really, it kind of interrupted my potential, my earning potential. Like I felt like if I was outside of the constructs of a 9 to 5, so to speak, and I can control how much money I make or how much time, being able to control, I could I could reach higher levels. And so I didn't know anything about how to actually do that. And so having a career or a trade or something like that to help provide income with you along the way is probably one of the lessons that I picked up. If you didn't grow up, your parents in the business and they show you the way when you're younger, and you're gonna make mistakes along the way while you're starting your business and progressing and learning. So having something as 9 to 5, I don't necessarily encourage everybody to just quit their job and just go full force into it. That wouldn't be really using wisdom.
But you didn't do that either, though.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't do that. Like that could be dangerous. I mean, there are people who do that, but because I know that you're gonna make mistakes along the way, if you do that, it could be, it could be tough. So having something along the way is good. And having a partner, my wife, her being able to have a partner, in me, allow her to be able to grow her side of her business, and us just helping each other along the way. And I think that's some of the keys that I learned. I don't know about
you. Oh. He's trying to butter you up because
butter.
Oh my gosh. I will say, because Cameron mentioned the start, so I will try not to spider web and drag it on out,
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, as a little girl, I've always desired to be a business person. I don't know where I got that from, but like Dre said, I think everybody has their desires and gifts that God gives them. Mm-hmm. And mine's always been to just have a business and a family and music, and so but I will say, we definitely, once we left home, because like you said, all we knew was what our parents showed us and all that they knew. And so we got the opportunity, because he used to be in the Air Force, was to see world outside of our hometown. I think that played a huge influence for me to see things differently. And God, brought us this couple. Like Dre was like adamant, like when we get married, because I told him that too, like, you think you need to be saved, a man of God, so he was like, yeah, I'm saved,
But you got it.
And I told him, whenever I go, you need to have a church for me, for us to go to. And he found a church. He showed me the church, while I'm back home. And so I said, okay, he's for real. Okay. So I get there, he takes me to the church, and it was this amazing place. And this couple, they were like, God just put us in our heart to disciple you guys, to mentor you guys. And this couple was very successful. They had this huge home. I've never seen, a mansion before in my life. I'm from Georgia, I was just happy with just, having a home. So humble beginnings, but yes. So, and they were just letting us know, hey, and not just material things, but just if
they were together.
They were together, and they had their businesses and things like that. And they were just saying asking us about our goals and our dreams and what we want, and, and just helping us we would meet. And so it was very important, they said, to surround yourself with people that want to elevate and teach you and help you grow. And that's what we did. And that helped us, we always just wanted business. We were doing we did network marketing, which I'm not knocking network marketing for those who may be watching that
I am
building their team.
But don't come for me.
But it's not for everybody, but it wasn't for us, but we knew we wanted something. And we ended up just looking at the things that God gave us, like the things we love, like Dre loved things with acting and cameras. He just always liked that. I didn't foresee us making business with that, but hey, you know, and me, of course, music and things like that. So it was just a lot of just surrounding ourselves with people who were business minded and Christ minded, though. That was always important.
That circle.
Yeah, because you don't want to grow business and stuff and your family fall apart. Because we've seen so many families, they, even though they make all this money and stuff, they end up not together. You know, we're like, man, what happened? And so it was always key. We've always been told to keep God in the center, keep him first, you know, and everything you do and all that other stuff will come. Don't seek all that stuff. And that's what we decided to do, was to just we really want to be kingdom millionaires, where we always say that, where we want to bless God's kingdom here on earth while we're here. You know, we can help people and mentor people and things like that. So it was a journey, because like he said, we didn't know what we were doing, but we learned as we went. even getting our education and growing ourselves in knowledge of how to do better with our jobs too. So it was definitely a lot of, you know, what are we doing? But I'm glad we learned this lesson. Let's move forward.
And I would say,
go ahead.
I would say too, like, in order to be, I mean, a lot of people start businesses, but like, in order to be successful, you got to be able to be willing to like work some extreme long hours and be able to put on the blinders and like get an extreme focus. You know what I mean? Like you like Cam. No, I used to play NBA 2K. I'll buy it every year, and we would play it. We spent a lot of time. We would play till like 2 or 3 in the morning. You know. And we'd be up all night laughing and joking. My wife be mad at me, like, I can't believe you stayed up. The sun is coming up, you know, and we'd be playing all night.
England, and the time difference.
And they were, it was different for them. Yeah, it'd be morning. It'd be like morning for me, but it's like 9 o'clock for them. But I came to a point where I was like, I'm gonna make this my main thing, so I'm gonna get like a laser focus. And it got to the point where I wasn't playing the game at all. Because I just didn't have, I realized if I was going to be successful at to the level that I wanted to be at, I had to stop doing that. That was one of the things that I could let go. Some of the things you can let go. You can't let go time with your wife. You can't let go time with your kids. You can't let go. You know, I was getting education, so I couldn't let that go. I couldn't let school go. So some of those extra things gotta go. And the only reason I didn't sell it, you know, was because, you know, we watched movies on it and stuff like that.
And your kids play it too, right?
Yeah.
They don't really play the play. Well, I got them the Xbox, but they don't really play the PlayStation. But so yeah, I got, you know, I wasn't buying as many games. I wasn't buying as many clothes. I spent a bunch of money on equipment because I knew I needed, you know, $50,000-$60,000 to start up what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? So we did a lot of sacrificing. We did a lot of not buying new clothes and not having a lot of things, you know, because the end goal was the goal, you know, and if you do that and you sacrifice and you work hard, you know, it will pay off in the end, for sure.
Yeah, we invested a lot in our gifts, and like you said, we went without, you know, getting stuff, and some family members would be like, you know, why don't you get a new car, clothes, or you know,
why are you worrying about my business?
Yes, you know.
Your business and mine's yours.
I think I'm just getting straddled along because I've just recently just started my business, which is basically just right. Which is
we're gonna push you, and we're gonna push you too.
Yes, which is basically you know, Firearms Training Academy, Prime Sight Firearms Training Academy. And basically it's me just pretty much just, you know, teaching and helping out people with, you know, new gun users and, you know, people that have been owning guns for years, but don't necessarily know how to use them, especially our ladies, you know, y'all would buy guns for like defense or whatever the case may be, but never
take it out the case.
Right. So I think that my business will be very helpful for them. Very, very helpful for people that's trying to learn how to shoot better, fine tune their skills, that kind of thing. And so, like you mentioned a key thing though for me though, Andre. You let go something that was taking so much of your time and it was consuming so much of your time. And I think on the very first episode we were talking about how, you know, some things can become your idol. So for me now, I can feel myself like I don't want
Like disconnecting.
yeah, as far as the the game and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, I don't find myself wanting to get on it that much no more
That's
Mhm.
good.
because I feel and see what my business can be capable of. It's up to me as first working through God
Mhm.
to get better with certain things that I need to do as far as flourishing my business. I think the
Mhm.
biggest thing right now that I'm working on is just getting a piece of land.
Mhm.
Once I get a piece of land, I'll be able to work out some other things. And then of course I can do like the online teaching too with that too. So
I'm telling y'all, this dude could teach.
yeah.
He took a first time gun user, bro. I witnessed it. Took a first time gun user, and he was booked like.
Yep. Me and Thomas, I'm gonna call him my first pupil. Thomas is my first pupil. He we went out to the range in Texas and took the guys out to Texas and to a range in Texas and shot for a little bit. And Thomas already had told me the night before, hey, look, I own a gun, but I never shot it before, and I'm not really too user friendly or confident in using the gun. So I said, hey, look, man, I'll be there. I'm gonna show you, how to do it, how to use the gun or whatever the case may be. And so we worked on some safety stuff first, making sure that before you pull in the trigger, where you're aiming at, what's your target and what's beyond your target, those kind of things. Understand that trigger control is important, muzzle control is important, knowing where you're pointing your gun at because you don't want to shoot anybody on accident, right? And so we worked on those things, and we worked on reloading your gun, and also putting in your ammo. A lot of people have a hard time inserting their ammo inside of their magazine. They do. And a lot of times it could be because the gun is new, or it could be just because they just simply don't know how to do it. I know I've had the opportunity of going through the police academy, and in the police academy they teach us things and how to use our guns or whatever the case may be, and loading our rounds and everything. So we went through all that, and I like to train people off of like close in shooting, like from the 5 or the 7 yard line, because if you're a first time shooter, you're not really going do well shooting at the 25 yard line. You're not learning anything. So when I taught him from the 7 yard line, he was able to see his shot placement. I told him about how his stance is. He had like a modified type of isosceles stance. I know we don't really understand what the stances that I'm talking about, but I taught him how to stand when shooting.
Join the class to find out.
Yeah, join the class. I taught him
how
to stand when shooting, and when he's aiming and whatever, and whatever case may be on that. And once he shot, he saw where his placement was, and I told him, hey, look, this is what you're doing. I was able to tell him his issues as far as him jerking the trigger or pushing the gun. I was able to show him what he was doing, and he corrected it. That's the main thing: listening, and then correcting what you did wrong. And I always say this: the best shooters are somebody that never touched a gun before, and it's because they don't have any bad habits. I'm serious. They don't have any bad. I say that because they don't have any bad habits. Now you thinking about the danger level, but it's up to me to make sure that we're operating our gun safely as the teacher. But as the teacher, that's always been my motto. The person that never touched a gun before is a better person to teach how to shoot because they don't have any bad habits. A person that's been shooting, they're shooting their guns, but are they really doing it right?
I think it's even better for God to show us how to even do something that we have nothing that we know about, that he's saying, I want you to start this business that you have no clue about, but because you don't know anything, you're not going to try to do something in your own strength. You have to literally
rely on God in everything that you do.
To show you, and you learn, and he show you things. So it's really pretty. I was thinking about that when you were saying that, like people, not knowing, they tend to do better, like not knowing, but following God, you will do good, because you're not like depending on yourself and your knowledge of things,
And so the lessons that I've learned from that, with what you just brought up, you're relying on God. The lessons that I've learned in order to help my business fluctuate better is not to be complacent, thinking that it's gonna come, it's gonna do this, that, and the third. Because a lot of times we pray for stuff, right? We pray, we ask God to do these things for us. God, can you please bless us? But God, do this, God, do this, God, do this. But what are we doing? Are we actually going in and taking those necessary steps to help God orchestrate our business or help God flourish our business? So I would say one of the key points for me is complacency. So make sure I'm staying on top of certain things that I'm doing in my business. So business,
it's always something you could be done. You could be doing.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad he said that, because I don't know when you guys are going to end this, but that is so key and important with anything, with business, anything in life. That's especially with my husband. Like, he's all about, doing. We can sit around and talk, but okay, what can we do to do this? But even God says faith without work action is dead. Like, you have to work. You have to give God something to work with. It just doesn't just fall in your lap and go, okay, business is going to be successful. Boom. No, you need to seek God, what he wants you to do every step of the way, and put action to what you believe that he's showing you, to do. And like, when we did that with our business, like, business started coming from everywhere. Like, we started having to turn people away. It was crazy. In the middle of a pandemic, had to turn people and say, hey, we're booked. We want to help you, but we can't. And that was just God showing out. Like, cause we were like, okay.
He opened them floodgates.
You wanted to do what?
We weren't ready.
No sense, and so
catch the water.
Yes.
Be ready.
It literally takes you saying, yes, I'm ready. I'm available. And you put him to it. Cause he even say, like, when he tells you to give and watch what I do for you, like, watch me, who won't want to see what he'll do for you? So, like, I would say from experience, like, be obedient, because obedience is greater than sacrifice, because you can sacrifice your time and food, but if you're not obedient, you're missing out.
So we've had businesses as a key point. So we're gonna kind of go away from that for now. Okay. And we're gonna end the last topic on this. The sphere of influence. Ooh. So the question is going to be is, who's had the biggest influence in your life? Now I'll start it off, but who's had the biggest influence in your life, or the biggest impact in your life to get you to? I know we all know God got us where we are, but who was that nugget that he dropped in? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start it off.
Okay.
My biggest influence is going to be my pastor and my first lady. And I say this because they've kind of taken us under this umbrella, and they've taught us a whole lot of things. Mm-hmm. And I look at how my pastor is with his family, and how he is with her, my first lady, and his kids and everything. And I try to model, not try to be like him, but I just see certain things and certain key points on how he handles certain situations that makes me want to apply it to my life. And me growing up, I haven't had that father figure growing up, and it wasn't until my mom met my stepdad, of course, years later, and he had an influence in my life as far as showing me how to do those small things, like changing out the tire, or whatever the case may be, on some things, how a man should be with his family. So, and I would say this also too, for anybody that's listening, if you have a similar situation where you don't have your dad in your life or a father figure in your life, don't use that as a crutch. Don't use that as don't be a statistic. Like, don't allow that to bring you down or keep you down. Like, don't use that as an excuse. Like, you can still be a successful man in your life. You still can be successful. You still can do. You still can. It's okay. He's not there. He's not there, but it's okay. Use God as your source, of course, and continue moving forward. Get rid of the hurt, forgive, and forgive. I always say don't forget, because you're never really going to truly forget it. But forgiveness, forgive him for what he couldn't really give you if he's not in your life. But so I would say that my pastor and my first lady is my biggest influence, because of the things that they just instill in us, and they have helped us in so many ways. And I think I said it in the previous show on how they seen things in us that we didn't quite see coming up, because you'll be rebellious or you'll be hard-headed, and you know what the word says, but you're still living in sin or whatever the case may be. But then when God finally gets a hold of you, and then you finally change for the better, and you turn away from those things and never do them again, and it's just how they've just taken us and just helped us and molded us to be better people or be better individuals to each other, me and my wife. And they just, that influence that they've had on us, I just thank God for that. So I would say right now they've had the biggest influence in my life.
I love them too, because
Yeah.
I can see the influence, and I love that they are who they are. They tell the truth without apology. So I
Yeah.
love that. I love that about them for sure.
Yeah.
And then the biggest influence on my life, I'd have to say, I wouldn't say it's one, but it is about three pastors, probably about three pastors, and it's just been pastors. I've had the privilege of having pastors who have like business success mindsets and stuff like that, and having a kingdom mindset, not just in business, but a kingdom mindset, meaning they believe in success in their business, they believe in success in their family, and they believe in having a tight relationship with God. You know what I mean? And so I saw that early on after I got out of the house. My first encounter with my first pastor was that, like, the type of man I wanted to be. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take notes, and I'm the type of person that I'll look and see what, like, man, he got a great marriage, he got a great life. I'm gonna see what he's doing, and I'm gonna see what it is, what principles he's using, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna apply that to my life. You know, not saying I'm gonna copy everything that person does, but I'll pick up things from each of them that I can use in each principle and apply it to my life. So those are my biggest influence. You know, a couple of key pastors, like Pastor Ken in Alaska, our pastor that we have now, Pastor Keith. So yeah, those are my biggest influence.
Cool. Oh, you done? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm looking at you.
I will say, like Dre said, it's not one for me. It's probably like 5, maybe 6 or 5. Yes, because they always call me like the hippie in the family. But anyways, I would say first off, Pastor Eddie Adams. He was the first like person that I remember as far as my walk with God that really just showed he cared, and just showed me things, and not just told me rules, but had me go and look and read in the word and for myself, you know, like he was the first one. And I would say Pastor Ken, friendly in Alaska, definitely he he changed my way of thinking. He showed me that there's more to life than just surviving, but thriving with God. And then I would say Pastor Mr. Paul Gilliard. We met him in Alaska, and again in England. He was like a spiritual father to me. He really showed me to value myself, and to, you know, he really showed us that we can be successful, and he showed us just in different ways. He just showed love and support, like just support. And then I would say my teachers, my music teachers, they really believed in me, as in, you know, and I didn't really believe in myself. A little girl, you know, didn't like you're saying, Cameron, we didn't have like a father, like a strong father figure always in our life.
Yep.
So in that time that I didn't have one like that, they were there, and and I believe they really influenced where I am now with my music, because they went way beyond just being a teacher, like just really investing in me. And then I would say our pastor here, they definitely, Pastor Keith, really here has helped me as business minded, like kingdom minded with the business, just putting them together, making sure, you know, you keep God forefront and not be, you know, chasing stuff. But and the women, I would say, I will just say right now, I definitely, as far as when I became a woman, a wife, away from home, Miss CEO, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but she really just showed me how to be a gentle wife, you know, like especially for my hubby. Like she really helped me with that. So I will give all those people shout outs.
Yeah, so we can say that it's probably a gang of people that's in ministry that's had a lot of influences in our lives. So
yes,
yeah, because like I said, my pastor, Pastor Travis and Miss Bridget, so they've had a big influence. I know another couple that I can't forget. I'm sorry, Mr. Melvin and Miss Darlene.
Oh yes, same here.
Old school.
There's not just one.
Man,
There's
we
not
would be
just
piled.
one.
We would be piled up in their car on the way to church, like sitting in the trunk. I think
They
Miss
were
Miller
taking a
like
whole gang of people to church.
He had like
bro.
a blazer or something like that. I can't remember
They
what
had a
kind.
they had a trailblazer.
Yeah,
Black
all of us in the
trailblazer.
trunk. All of us sitting in the trunk, like we ready for church. Like,
Yes.
bruh, they will come get you. Like, you need to go to church. They coming.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like there was a time where I couldn't find a way to church. I was alone with that, and they went all the way out of their way to the other side of town to come pick me up and take me to church. And I'm so great. Yeah, I'm so grateful for that, because there are people, I don't think they realize just how much they influenced us, and they gave us like the focus group. Where they kept us focused on God, and and now they can see the fruit of the things they put in all those young people that they witnessed to and poured into. We can't forget them, because they were like, yes, there was a movement.
They was. I'll talk about. They was in heavy, boy. Y'all don't understand. We was packed in that blazer. They had to let us out from the trunk.
And listening to our music we were making then. Like, listen to this. And they're like, okay, listening to our stuff. They were there and they saw, I don't know what they saw it. They saw it and they believed, and I thank God for them. I always thank God for them.
Yeah. Man, I got this moth flying around here, man. I'm gonna get him. That joker done flew on my camera set.
He likes that light.
Yeah. I
saw it earlier because you looked. I was like, oh.
Oh, you saw? Wait, you saw it?
You saw it?
I saw it go zoom.
I was gonna be like, man, Cam, man, he got all kinds of stuff flying around in his house.
Y'all must live in Dawson.
That's that Georgia.
See, man. Oh, y'all joking? Oh, y'all joking?
Y'all must live in Dawson. Y'all live in Dawson. Y'all out there in the sticks. Y'all out there in the sticks.
Yeah, look, I did Dayla. Y'all saw it earlier. What?
Why you ain't say nothing? It went like this.
You about to get attacked.
It was like this.
Oh my God. I ain't tell her how many times it done flew around in the camera.
I didn't see it.
Cameron did this.
I ain't see it that time. Now the last time, just now, I was like, oh man, that thing on moth.
Dre's gonna see it when he edit. You're gonna see it was big.
For real.
Look, she going in. Man, it's been an awesome show, man. I think that having Dayla on was awesome. Awesome idea, great idea. So Dayla, you killed it. You really did. Like, it was so genuine. So we love it, and we're definitely gonna have you on more.
Thanks.
Hopefully, we can get my wife on. She's gonna act like
yes. That'd be awesome. She hadn't, but she's doing business things right now. She's handling business.
Yeah, she's doing
awesome plug in there.
Things. So
pretty soon we're gonna have some things. We're gonna have some discounts and some merchandise that people can get. But y'all gotta follow us first. Y'all gotta follow us, and we're gonna have some things for you.
And it's only going to get better. Eventually we'll start putting our tags on the video feeds and everything. So, but as always, we love y'all. From Faith Talk, we signing off again. Andre Dayla, it was awesome. Signing off.